Yo, what is up, guys? So in today's video, I want to talk about something that I learned over at the ProductCon conference last week. ProductCon is sort of an annual thing that the product school puts together about once a year, and this is the first time that they scheduled it in person because last couple years it was all done virtually due to the pandemic. And so I decided to go out there and check it out, and it was really cool to network with other product managers. They have these seminars and speakers. They also have companies come out to demo their product and get people to learn more about their business and about their industry. It's also a great recruiting event because there's a lot of different recruiters and sourcers that come out to just connect and network with people. But the highlight for me was sort of the last speaker, Ajay Arora, who I believe is the Senior Vice President of Product for Disney. And I think he works more on the streaming side. And he gave a talk about some of the qualities or attributes that product managers should have. And I think it was titled The Most Underrated Attribute as a Product Manager. And before he started speaking, I was thinking to myself, what are some of the things that product managers need to have in their toolkit? Obviously, they need to have user empathy. They need to know how to problem solve. They have to know how to read and interpret data and gather insights. They need to know how to influence people from all ranks of the organization. So that's what I kind of had in my mind before he started speaking. And when he mentioned and started out with an anecdote and said that, hey, at the end of the day, these are all important, but the most underrated attribute is humility, it caught me a little bit off guard. And the reason why is, from my experience so far, product managers are those who really kind of lead both the strategic and tactical efforts to build products and to solve problems for customers. Have to have some level of ego, right? Otherwise, it's hard to really buy into what they're saying, and they need to be salesmen at the end of the day. Which is a skill set that I think is supremely important. But Ajay was talking about this attribute, humility, and how product managers, especially the good and the great ones, really use humility to downplay their achievements, to deflect the praise from them to their team, and then also take on the blame when things don't go according to plan. And it really just had an impact on me, and I was thinking about it even after the conference, and it just stuck with me. Even a few days afterwards, and I just kind of wanted to share my initial thoughts on it because, I do think, reflecting back and thinking about what Ajay was talking about, and obviously him having his background, working on Netflix, Disney, and a few other notable companies on his CV, I realized that this is a real key differentiator between really good product managers to the great ones. And, for me personally, in my product journey so far, I think I've learned and made a lot of mistakes along the way. We're all human, and I'm no different. If things go well, I want to include myself as part of the team and say, hey, look at what we did, look at what we were able to achieve and the value that we were able to bring to the table. But when things go wrong, you want to figure out the root cause and how we can avoid this happening in the future, but then also not take that blame on because you don't want to look bad. And Ajay's take on it was, it's okay to take on responsibility. And, for him, he was giving this anecdote where he took on that responsibility, admitted that he should have double checked, triple checked, whatever. And in the end, his company and his leadership ended up giving him more responsibilities. And they trusted him with even more because he had now built up credibility where they could really just ensure that, hey, Ajay's someone we can trust. And I think that's a lesson, not just for product managers, but for anyone who works in the corporate world, that it's okay to take on responsibility. It reminded me a lot about a book that I read a couple years ago. It's written by Jocko Willink, ex-Navy SEAL, and it was titled Extreme Ownership, and how the most successful and impactful leaders are those who really take that ownership to heart. And so that's what I wanted to talk about and share with you guys. It was something that stuck with me, and something that I think is probably underrated and not really talked about in the industry because we always want to talk about the glory times and what we did well, and as product managers, we want to look good in front of the team and in front of our customers and users. But I think that humbleness and having that humility is something that I can personally do a little bit more of in my day-to-day and also just in my personal life. Let me know in the comments down below if you think there are other virtues that are as important or even more important than humility. And like this video, share it with your friends, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.